is Ella Dorsch, and I was just interviewed by the Keith Andrews, and he is such an amazing person, and this interview was so awesome, and you're about to watch it.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew. I'm here with Ella Dorsch. It's a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest, and welcome to the Keith Andrew Network.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
No, the honor is all mine. For people who want to know what the Keith Andrew Network is, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. To prove to them and stem out to something. So hashtag break the labels. So that being said, half hour of your time, you can say whatever you want, talk about whatever you want. Freedom of speech, self-expression, and we'll jump right into it.
Okay.
Now, for people who want to know who is the beautiful and talented Ella Dorsch, you are an upcoming professional actor. And the first question I want to ask you is, who influenced you to become a professional actor, and how many years have you been acting?
That's a really interesting question. Who influenced me? Well, growing up, my grandmother and I would watch the movie called Mamma Mia. It's this awesome movie with Amanda Seyfried and Meryl Streep. And I think growing up, I really looked at Meryl Streep as sort of an icon. And it was a really nice movie for me and my grandmother to bond with. It's kind of like our thing. So I think Meryl Streep has been the most influential person, the person I look up to the most. And how I got into acting is I was a professional dancer for 6 years. And the dancing kind of segued into musical theater and kind of, that realm. And then musical theater at the start of 3rd grade kind of led me to TV and film acting. And I always knew what it was. I just didn't know, how to become a TV and film actress. I didn't know. So figuring out that I could do that now, like right now as a 3rd grader, I could be an actress was the most incredible thing. So I'd say I've been acting professionally for about 4 years.
Oh, absolutely. Now, you mentioned Mamma Mia. What was about Mamma Mia that got you hooked?
So I've always been like a really musical person. And I think it being a musical was really awesome. So I'd like stand up and I'd do the dances with them and I'd sing with them. And I think it was just really awesome. And also growing up, I loved how it was a really big, like, women empowerment movie. My dog. There are 3 main, lead males, but there's 2 lead women. And it was just amazing to like see this female empowerment, and the musical side of it just really drew me to it.
No, absolutely. Now, the next question, I'm going to ask you some easy ones, then we can go to the hard-hitting ones. What can you tell us about yourself?
Let's see. I'm going into 8th grade. Thank you, Chewy. I go to a school of the arts. I'm a musical theater major. I love to bake. I love to sing. I love to act. I love to write. I love to write stories. I love the outdoors. My dad and I go on a camping trip every summer. We're actually going next week to the mountains together. I love to whitewater raft. That's kind of it. I really want to get into more hobbies and do more stuff outside of acting. So quarantine's been an amazing time to figure out some more passions of mine.
No, absolutely. And for online social media, it is something to really get into. Mm-hmm. It's okay, for an example, for TV shows, it's really hard to film. But if you're doing like a podcast, something I would recommend for you, if you're interested in that, just make your own show. To help you with your following. And the biggest thing about doing your own show is it gives you the self-confidence in yourself to open up more. I give you an example. When I was your age, thanks, now I feel old. But when I was your age, I was the type of person who would, don't ask me why, I just did stupid things. I used to sit against the wall in the cafeteria being anti-social. When I worked over at North Face, I had like a little badge. So I'm like, oh, hey, if you need anyone, I put purposely not shoved the badge in their face. Like, oh, see, my name is Keith. If you need anything, let me know. But I used to hide behind things. Now that I created my own talk show, I don't have to hide. This is who I am. This is who I'm going to be until I die. Find something that you're very passionate in and use that, not as a shield, but more as a catalyst of saying, this is going to project me into the direction I want to do, not hide behind something.
Wow. That's inspiring. I'm getting chills.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is because you mentioned you were in quarantine. How's quarantine going for you?
Quarantine's been going good. I have 3 other siblings, and my family's a family of 6. So it's really packed in my house right now. It's been really good. It's given me a really good opportunity to take a lot of online master classes and figure out kind of just like I've, rearranged my resume, and it's been an awesome time for the acting side of it to just kind of get a fresh start and get all this training behind my belt. And with hobbies, I've taken up sewing. I got a sewing machine. I'm learning French. So I think quarantine's really been helpful to kind of just like relax and like take a moment and figure out, focus on acting and focus on like what's important right now. So I think it's been an amazing time, and also spending time with family. My family's always on the go. We have like a lot of moving parts in our family. So I think it's been awesome to kind of just relax and unwind.
No, absolutely. It's always good to sit back, relax. And the thing I always say is, even if you become an A-lister, for me, it doesn't matter if I do become an A-lister, B-lister, well, D-lister or D-lister, because of disabilities. But it doesn't matter what labels you give yourself. You should always, in my case, you should cut yourself in half. 50-50. Half of that is, you're on TV. Don't get a big head, because if you get a big head, you're going to self-destruct, like, Miley Cyrus, Hannah, I almost said Hannah Montana, but it's the same person. All these big kid stars who have these big heads, and they always self-destruct. So it's always to be balanced. So yes, enjoy the entertainment world, enjoy everything that's given to you, but at the same time, on the other 50%, stay humbled, stay who you are, never change for who you are. So I say, have one foot in reality and have one foot in the entertainment world. So if something funny happens in the entertainment world, you can bring that over to the other side. If something happens in your normal day life, you can use that, say, hey, that's a funny story. Maybe we can use that for something in the entertainment world. So it's always good to be balanced.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like the analogy.
And the next question I was asking, I got to ask you is, how do you feel about social media? And do you think social media can make you or break you with everything that you accomplish in your life? Well, I know your life is far from over, but everything that you accomplished to this very point, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, do these dictate if people should work with you or follow you? And do they impact your career?
Over the past couple of years, all my friends have gotten social media for acting. And I was really against it. Like, I really did not want to get a social media for acting. Partly because I didn't think my life was that interesting to post anything about. And also partly because, to be frank, sometimes I feel like acting accounts, or even my acting account, can get a little braggy, and I didn't want to be like that at all. I just didn't want to be like that. So I was really against it for a while. And then quarantine happened, and my mom and I were talking, and I was like, you know what? I think now's the right time. We have months and months and months to figure Instagram out together. It's an amazing time right now. A bunch of new actors are starting, so I think it'd be a great time. And what I found from being on social media is that it is an amazing outlet to find friends and to showcase your talents. And I'm really grateful for all like the love and support that I have and that like I give on Instagram. It's an amazing way for a confidence booster to someone else, or it's really a nice way to like lift someone up. But I don't think it necessarily makes or breaks you. I know that even if I didn't have any followers, I feel like I still would have my talent and I still would be like the same person. But I do think that if you're really into social media, and if you just want to try it out, I think it's an awesome outlet. But I always told my mom, like I feel like I need a social media. Like everyone's saying I need a social media. And then after I got the social media, I'm like, it's great, but you don't need it. But I do think that if you're interested in doing a social media, you totally should, because it's an awesome way to make friends and meet new people and, get connections.
No, just
And
like how we got connected.
Like this interview. So I'm really grateful that I got on social media when I did.
No, absolutely. And it's funny because I was looking at your following, and you have a lot of followers, more than I have, and I'm really jealous of that. But it's kind of like, is it the numbers that matters? Like, hey, you have 5,000, 10,000 people, but you don't have a message. But yet you have a message, like for what I have, but you don't have a lot of people following you. And a lot of people, that's a two-part question. And the second part of that is, people are like, oh, you should be on Fox News. You should be on all this media. And I actually reached out to producers on Fox News, Good Morning America, and Friends. And I always get the same reaction of saying, it's good what you're doing, but we don't think it's something the world would wants to hear. Or some whatever BS excuse to say, it's great, but we don't think it's something our viewers want to hear. We don't think it will get more ratings. But yeah, talking about, rape, murder, and killings, and whatever, Trump being on the news, not to talk about political things or anything, but you talk about all these stupid things. All right, okay, let's do this, let's do that. And I understand that stupid things, they're like, oh, hey, look at this kid doing a flip and landing on his face. That's funny. But yet, you look at someone and say, hey, I'm doing something to benefit myself and something to inspire people. That goes back to the numbers, right? Just because people don't know. And the truth is, people don't know who I am. But do you think that the message lays out the numbers, or do you think once you get known, it kind of benefits itself?
I definitely think that numbers don't matter. It's like I always think, like, would I rather have 100 friends who I barely know, or 3 close friends who are like, my rock? And so I do think that if you have if you have millions and millions of followers, that's amazing. But if you have a close group of followers like we do, I think it's awesome because, they support you and they comment, and, we DM each other and we talk to each other and we FaceTime each other. And it's this really big community and a really small amount of followers for me. So that's why I think that it's definitely all about, how close you are in this community you have. And to the second question, I feel like in this day and age, it's sad, but if you don't have millions and millions of followers in this, people just kind of ignore you, which is so terrible. Like, this is so terrible. But I think that no matter how many followers or how little followers, the message that you have is such an amazing message. And I think that so many people need to hear about it. And I think that you are doing such amazing stuff, and the world should hear, and you should be on every news show. Yeah.
Well, hey, you help me, I help you. And actually, that brings up my next question is, I'm always looking for brand ambassadors. One Would you be interested to be in one? Have you ever thought about being one? And actually, let's just take it from there.
I would love to be a brand ambassador. Whenever I do my interviews in the shower by myself, which I do a lot, I always think to myself, wouldn't it be so amazing if I could just support a movement that would change the world and is so awesome and would really help people. And I think what you're doing is so amazing and will change the world and will help people. So I would love to be a brand ambassador and speak out. And yes, I would love to.
No, absolutely. It's funny, I made a hashtag, the Keith Andrew movement. But a lot of people make it saying the joke, like, yeah, you're sure on a movement, Keith. It's called a bowel movement. But yeah, that's trying to make you laugh. But the next thing I was going to ask you is, have you ever thought about doing voiceovers? And would you be interested in doing some?
I have never done any voiceovers. Frankly, I would love to do voiceovers. There just aren't any I don't want to do any voiceovers unless I have training. I don't know, but there's not any voiceover training areas near me. But I would love to do voiceover. I think it's really cool. I think that having a musical theater background helps you with projection, which you need in voiceovers, helps you with articulation, enunciation, the tone, the inflectuation. So I think that having a musical theater background would help me in voiceover, and I'd be so down to do voiceover. I feel like I don't know if I'd be good at it or not since I don't have any training for it, but I would love to do it.
Well, the thing about training is you can actually train yourself. And the more that you do it, the more you feel comfortable doing it.
True.
Like, for an example, I do a lot of fan-made parodies of Jumbo and Jumblebug. If you're interested, maybe you like to do some. But I used to make fan-made parodies, like I said. But I came up with the idea to say, you know what? Instead of just doing this for myself, maybe it can actually help the person who's doing it. For example, if you want to be part of it, you would do one, post it on your Instagram, like, hey team, or fans, or whatever you call your fan base. I just did these voiceovers. I want your honest opinion, and see how many viewers you get and numbers, because you have 200, 300, or 1,000 people following you. And the more you do stuff like that, it doesn't matter if it's perfect. I'm a perfect example of that, because I've been doing this for 7.5 years. It took me a long time to get to where I am. You don't have to be, there's no one in this world that is perfect. If you're perfect, you're full of BS, number one, and you're hiding something. There's absolutely no perfect person in here, unless you're a robot. But you have to get yourself out there. But the other thing you mentioned in the beginning that caught my interest is you mentioned that you have a family of 6 people. Well, you're in a family of 6 people. You don't have, yeah. Are you the youngest or oldest?
I'm the second oldest.
It's funny because I'm actually the youngest out of 4 brothers and 1 sister.
Wow.
So we have that in common.
Yeah, I love my siblings. They drive me crazy. But yeah, I'm really, really thankful and blessed that I have siblings.
No, I agree with you. I love my family very much. I live home with my 2 brothers and my sister. And I use one of my brothers for an inspiration. We fight like cats and dogs. And there's some times where I just want to slap him and he wants to punch me in the face. And, I rub people the wrong way because I have poor mannerisms. But, it's always nice to have a big family, and because you're always going to be there for each other. But the next question I want to ask you is, I'm going to actually pass the show over to you. With the last 8 minutes left, was there anything you wanted to talk about? Anything you want to promote? Ask me. This is a normal conversation, and like I said, you're making a new friend out of it.
I just think it's so awesome with what you're doing, and I want to know, how did the idea for this talk show kind of come up, and how did you start it?
All right. Long story short is my brother had his own show back in the day, a college show. And I'm like, oh, well, if he can do it, I can do it too. So when I went to high school, there was a high school radio station. And, I said, to the guy, God rest his soul, Mr. Earl, you have every TV in a classroom. At the time, they were doing like stuff with the TVs. Then 9/11 happened, and then it said, no more TVs. You're not going to see anything on there unless it's video related, class related. So I was like, you know what? I have a great idea. Every TV in a classroom, why not do my own show? And he's like, oh, well, you have to talk to the assistant principal, then you have to talk to the PTA, and then you have to talk. Remember, I'm not the same person who I am now, who I was 16 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it is. And I'm just stating to myself here. And I was like, okay, I gave up on it. There was another group of people who said, you know what, let's do a morning show. So it was called, the high school morning show. I wasn't never a part of it, but I came up with the idea. At the same time, there was also a radio station. So people got to be on TV or they get to do the radio station. As I said, I couldn't be part of the TV station. So I said, you know what? I'm going to create my own radio show. And so from 2004 to about now, actually, let me rephrase that. From 2004 to 2006, I had the Keith Andrews Show. If I was there with you, I would be the Keith and Emma Show. Ellis, I'm sorry, I butchered your name. The Keith and Andrew Show, the Keith and Tony Show, the Keith Power Hour Show. I just want to get myself out there. Of course, I got out of high school, and I got sick out of it. Long story short, out of stupidity, I can tell you another time. In 2013, I just got tired of sitting with my family and saying, my brother before me used to say, oh, I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know what to do. And I was like, oh, talk to your brother. He can point you in the right direction. They know people. And I'm like, what about me? What about you? And it's true. It's like, one, you're not educated. You're not qualified. You don't shut up. You have diarrhea of the mouth. You instigate with people. You never went to college. You never have a BA, a bachelor's, and you're not qualified to doing anything. So I said, the hell with it. I'm going to show you with a learning disability. Look at what I'm able to accomplish. So June, I can't remember the date. Let's just say the 10th. June 10th of 2013, I did 72 phone interviews. Don't actually act at why I did it at the time. It seemed like a good idea. But I did 72 phone interviews on people like from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to Amazing Spider-Man, and I was still having panic attacks. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm talking on the phone, and there's no one in here. And I don't like talking on the phone because when you talk on the phone, it feels like I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, you have this great format. Why aren't you as big or bigger than you portray yourself to be? So I did it over. And I was like, I'm a big wrestling fan. How's Hershey's? And plus I had $1 for every time I said this. But, Hershey's and Snickers presents WWE WrestleMania. And I was like, okay, I'm paying for the KeithAndrewNetWork name. Why not use that name? So I did. The KeithAndrewNetWork presents Uncensored. So if you go back and watch season 1, season 2, I can show you real fast. Actually, hang on. How you see your reflection on the camera?
Yeah.
It's how season 1 and 2 was seen. I didn't want to be seen. And people are like, during season 2, someone came across my brother, said, oh, we came across your brother's show, very interesting. Why is he hiding? And I'm like, because I don't want to be seen. This is about you. This is about focus on you. And it's like, yeah, well, if it's about disabilities, then you have to put yourself out there. And at the same time, it still annoys me. I got up to 300 episodes. And little by little, people would make idle threats to me. Yeah, and that's why I do permission forms. I can get to that in a second. People are like, yeah, my agent said, my publicist said, you're degrading. We don't want to be seen with people like you. You ask a lot of stupid questions. I thought if I did your show, I would benefit my career more. Just whatever excuse you can think of. We're going to sue you if you're not going to take down the interview. So I said, you know what? The hell with it. I took it all down, all 372 episodes. Did it over. I went to a lawyer, long story short. Says you don't have to be copyrighted because you have an online presence. People know who you are. Do not have to be trademarked because that's $2,000 and you're not making any money, so you don't have to do that as of right now. He said your biggest mistake was, and this is for anyone who's doing a show, make a permission form and have them sign it. And it's like, for an example, we're doing an interview. If you change your mind in 30 days, say, hey, Keith, can we redo it? Can we do it over? Or whatever you want to say, you have that right. After 30 days, it's a done deal. So now I have a permission form. People like come out of this magically coma, say 2-3 years later, say, yeah, I'm not getting any views. And it's true. I get more views on Facebook than YouTube. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. And they're like, oh, I'm not getting any YouTube views. It's just not helping me with my career. And it's kind of like, nope, sorry, it's been 30 days. You had that open window. And it's like, oh, we're going to do this. Go right ahead. Now I have my friend who's a lawyer said if anyone harasses you, I can point them in your direction. He can, if you want to work with them, you're more than welcome to. He can just say, if anyone starts up with you, point them in my direction. So the point is, don't sign something if you're not going to honor it. But so long story short, I use my disability as a crutch, saying, oh, I don't have to do this, I don't have to do that. People will feel sorry for me. Things will be handed to you. But the truth of the matter is, if you label yourself like that, then people will say, oh, you're that kid with disabilities. You expect things to be given to you. So if you want something, you have to go out and prove to them you're capable of doing it, that you deserve it, and you're capable of reaching people's expectations. So that's a highlight of my story.
That's amazing. You should do a TED Talk. You'd be good at TED Talks. I can feel it.
Well, I thought about it, but I never heard back. But never say never. But wrapping up, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But wrapping up, how can people follow you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Stage 32?
Okay, I'm on Instagram and Facebook as, I think, _ Dorsch actor _ I think that's what it is. And then, yeah, that's kind of it. That's all my Instagram handles.
No, absolutely. And your Instagram will be on the bottom of the screen. And as I said, well, I'm going to say to you, to Mullen and the other people playing to the kid actors, you should have your face on every format. Even if you don't use it, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Reddit, LinkedIn, especially LinkedIn, you can get recommendations. Once you get one, I can give you a recommendation. Hopefully you can give me one. But the more you get yourself out there, the more you have more recommendations. Like on your Facebook fan page, I don't know if you have something called recommendations or reviews, but people can, that's saying, for an example, if you go on my page, I would love for you to do this. Leave me a recommendation. So instead of having like a website, or you can do this on your website for that matter, just have a list of all the people you ever came in contact with, who you ever worked with, and have recommendations. They hear to people who I worked with, this is what they have to say for me. Now, you can have it on your website, or you can have it on your Facebook. I would actually say both because the more you have it, the more you're out there. But the more of a solid base that you have, the more of a backbone you would have. But my question for you wrapping up the show is when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your honest first reaction? What made you say yes, and how do you feel now, and would you recommend it?
Okay, so when you first DM'd me, I was down for it because any opportunity to meet someone new is really good. I also am a person who struggles with like sometimes I get like anxiety over auditions or interviews or anything like that. So any opportunity to talk to someone new is really, really good for me and like kind of puts me at ease and helps me with auditioning. So I was really down to do it. And after meeting you, it's the exact same. I'm so happy I met you. This is an amazing platform. I have personally, for me, I've never seen anyone have this platform that you have, which I think is so cool and so rare. And so I really wanted to be a part of that and meet you and be on your show. And I think you're awesome.
No, I really appreciate it. Likewise. Now, if you ever want to do projects down the road, you're more than welcome to be back on the show. Usually I do like a year follow-up, a year and a half, so some time has passed. But you're more than welcome to be on the show. And if you're ever in New York, let's get tea or something. Especially if you're ever at one of my inventions. Oh, and not inventions, Comic-Cons or meet and greets. You should definitely swing by. And if you're ever at an event, I will definitely walk past and say thank you.
Awesome.
You know, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. And about wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having you on the show. And I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
Hi, I'm Paisley Blackburn.
I'm Ashley Burgess.
Hi, my name is Jeanette Abney.
Hi, I'm Sharon Spank.
Hey, this is Samantha Moore.
Hi, I'm Melody Jones.
Hi, my name is Becky Yee.
Hi, you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.